Hello, Pyramid Energy. I didn't plan on making any content today. I did have something on my mind that I wanted to revisit because I see the video seems to have come up for a run in the YouTube algorithm, a previous video that I recorded. And that is generally a sign, because I've got sight of which videos are being viewed. Especially if it's an old video, that gives me sight of what is happening in the times. And a topic I feel I want to talk about today is blind spots, the blind spot. It's come through in these words, and for me it's around the situations that we find ourselves in and what the blind spot is actually teaching us. When I looked up the term blind spot, it says, other than to do with the actual eyes and the retina and all that, it says an area where a person's view is obstructed. And when I think of view, this is taking me to what we can see and what we can't see. And obviously, being a listener on this channel, on Pyramid Energy, I'm already speaking to people that are deeply introspective, very mindful around their time, their lives, and the things that they spend their energy on, and the things that affect their energy. So I take that for granted. But there are times where we come across situations in our lives where we don't know how this thing happened. We're searching for why it happened, and we're asking ourselves, what am I being taught here? What am I being taught here? And on the other side of it, from a very real life perspective, there are things we want to progress with. There are things we want to develop in our lives, lists we've written of things we need to do, things we're nurturing and that we want to see come to pass. And this very much involves our sight in terms of the third eye. Our intuition comes into play here, because we need a good feel around how to execute on these things. But there comes a time where Spirit presents you with a lesson to show you what's in your blind spot. And so these events that we come across, where we're like, why am I here? It's essentially Spirit saying, check your blind spot. And the thing is that this blind spot, it's like if you look at a view of the things that you're able to pick up on, and let's make that entire view white. So this whole plate of information is white, and you can see everything, except somewhere on this plate there is a smaller black ring. Regard that as your blind spot. So it's black, so you can't actually see what's in it. Everything in white is clear, but the part that's in black, you cannot see it. What I'm finding is that, and this is from my personal experience, there are two things. The first one is that you're already aware of the problem that is hidden in this blind spot. So it's something where, like, you're checking against your checklist of is it this, is it that, is it this, is it that. It's one of those things. So it's not foreign. It's a lesson that you've learned before, but it's a more refined version of this lesson. It's to say, yes, you're aware of this area that you need to work on, this part of your shadow, you're aware of it. However, there's a certain thing there that links back to for example, I want to say your personal sense of worth that you're not facing very directly. So you know that there's something there, but you regard this lesson as having already been learned. But you're not seeing that you haven't, there's a last chapter that you need to complete there. And the second thing I want to say is that blind spot is actually very important. Changing that blind spot from black to white unlocks a whole lot of information that is being essentially, that is held back at this point. So to me it looks like, let's say, conversations with God, conversations with Spirit around what to do next. It's as if, like when you look at a series of things that you're buying and or a game you're playing, and there's 8, and after you finish the one, second one unlocks. After you finish the second one, third one unlocks. It's sort of like that. So it's sort of like you've got the 7 unlocked, but you've got 6 unlocked, but the 7th one, you can't jump to 8 if you haven't figured out 7 yet, and you're kind of stuck and you're wondering why it's not opening, and it's that blind spot. And so in looking at this, and I hope I'm making sense here, in looking at this as your intuition, your conversations with Spirit, in looking at this in that way, the blind spot is the answer to the next step. Perhaps something that may only be very clear in hindsight, but this is to say, don't ignore the things that you haven't finished completing yet. You're better off just not addressing the work. When I say work, I mean the things on your checklist of things you need to get done, the things that you want to get to. It becomes very frustrating when you have a list of things you want to do and you're using your mind to solve these problems. It's very frustrating because you're actually in a loop. I'm telling you now that information is not available. It's not being made available to you. That you don't have that key. You have not been handed that key because there's another conversation that needs to be completed first before we move to this next one. You will not be able to appreciate this thing that's sitting behind door number 8, level number 8. It's not available. You will not be able to appreciate what's in 8. You will not be able to understand what's in 8. You will not be able to make sense of what's in 8 and use what's in 8 fully. Appreciate it if you haven't finished 7. So we're trying to rush past 7. We're trying to say, yeah, I figured out 7. I know what it is. No, it's not done. It's your blind spot. It's in that thing that's blocking you is sitting in your blind spot. So what I need you to do then is to go back to, let's say, if you have a list of we have a mental list of the things that have helped us get to where we are now spiritually. We have a mental list, and we're getting impatient about executing on the work we're trying to create in this world, in this life. And this can apply to relationships. This can apply to work we're trying to bring into the world. This can apply to any sphere of your life. You'll know what that is. And so this is to say, revisit that mental list. Take it from mental, put it on paper. And as you're writing, and this is a process that I've witnessed. As you are writing, this is very important. As you're writing, the list of things I have learned that have helped me to improve my environment. As you're writing, or your manifestation list, For example, these are the things I want in a community. These are the things I want in a partner. These are the things I want out of my work and my life. That list, that list of stuff you're manifesting that you want brought forward to you, as you're writing it, you'll notice that there are things on the list which make a lot of sense to you. But you will come across one or more, but you will come across one where you slow down. So you know what it is, but you slow down as you're writing that one. That's where your blind spot is. That's exactly where your blind spot is. And now to unpack this blind spot so that you can actually uncover what it has in it. Whether it's one word or a sentence, this item on your list, there is something that you've decided about it. There's something you've told yourself about it that you are, in a sense, officially allowed to regard in that way. When I say official, I mean you feel you've completed the necessary requirements to own that item. Even though I've said you hesitate when you write it. You hesitate. So this is a process I'm asking you to do, because this would sometimes be a mental list, and I need you to put it on paper so that you can witness this process for yourself and identify your blind spot. So this item is one where at face value you've completed the task, and I'm feeling this opening happening in my ear again. You haven't fully resolved this. You haven't fully resolved this. Yes, you're aware that it's an item you need, but you haven't fully resolved how it relates back to your heart, how it relates back to your solar plexus. And when I say that, I mean, how does it relate back to your personal confidence as a person, as a human being? How have you reduced yourself in past times? How have you reduced yourself through engaging in matters around this item? And I have this energy that I'm feeling right now. It's very stern. It's very stern. When I'm saying that, I'm like, it's loving, but it's very much like there is no getting around this. There is absolutely no shortcut here, buddy. There's no shortcut. And of course, there are fears linked to this item. There are fears linked to this item. There's judgment related to this item. Self-judgment. Perhaps also judgment from others. It's a matter of shame. So I'm not saying that as you write the list, it says shame. I'm saying as you write the list, there is a sentence, there is a word where it's a little bit blurry to you, but you feel that it's clear enough for you to put it on that list. And when you unpack the reasons around why you chose those words or why you put that thing on your item, it's got attachments. Not all those attachments are resolved. There's still shame sitting on it, visible through your actions. The fact that it's on your list means it's important. And because it's correct to add it to your list, you've put it on the list, but you haven't healed that thing fully. And again, I'll say it, I've said it before, awareness is a healer. Awareness is a healer because we need our entire selves to engage in healing. Not to say we need to engage our entire selves, but I'm saying we need our entire selves. We need our entire self to engage in healing. And so the spirit is a healer. The spirit heals us in the most natural way. What a gift. The body is also able to heal itself. But the mind is the one that holds the ability of awareness. And so the mind is what we engage here through this writing exercise, through becoming aware of where the issue is. And if you don't solve it just by writing this, it'll come because you've become aware of the area. You've become aware of the area, and now this is the special part. Spirit knows you've engaged in this exercise and that you are looking for the answer on the thing that they've sent you back to. So you're no longer wandering at level 8, fishing around there like a blindfolded mouse. You're not there anymore. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I literally saw that. You're like fishing around trying to figure out the answer to 8. And they're saying, stop right there, go back to 7. This is 7. So now Spirit is aware that you've gone back to 7 and the writing is going to be on the wall. You just need to give time for that writing to go from scramble to clear. So you can give that time. This doesn't have to be immediate. It's going to come. And I promise you this. This is a promise from me. If you engage in this exercise, you come back to me and tell me that I was wrong. That's fine. This is where your blind spot is. And the worst thing about a blind spot is that the worst part of a blind spot is not knowing that it exists. And so I think this is the gift here, is that you're being made aware that there is a blind spot, and you're being sent to the place where the blind spot is. You're not looking at your entire life. You already know which area. Now you've been sent to the area and you've been given the clues to uncover which spot. And then now this next process is literally unpatching that spot. And the rest is history. I just had a dandelion land on my hand. I actually... and I saw one earlier and I made a wish. Anyway. Sorry, it's now sitting on my lap. It's moving around. It's like... it's just landed on me, right in front of me now. And so that's the message from me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for making it to this point, because this is a big one. This is a big one. This is a big one. I'm feeling that now, and I'm saying it in the sense that we have been getting frustrated fishing around in section number 8, level 8. We're not ready for 8 yet. We are ready in the sense that now we're being given extra help. Call a friend. What's that? Who wants to be a millionaire? You know? Call a friend. I'm that friend. I'm that friend. And I'm telling you, go back to 7. Go back to 7. And perhaps this is item number 7 on someone's list. I don't know. I'm going to go back to my own list. Go back to 7 and do this rather simple exercise. If you're manifesting something, I'm going to tell you now, the list is one of the most important things you'll ever do for yourself with regard to that manifestation, for a few reasons. And I'm going to mention the ones that come to me now. Awareness, number 1. Number 2, refinement of that list. You know, in the tarot there's a magician, the magician card. And the magician card, he stands next to his table and he's got 4 items on his table. He's got a sword, which represents truth. He's got a cup, which represents love. He's got a wand, which represents vision. I mean, they represent many things, but just stay with me here. Vision. And the 4th one is, I've gone blank, and I know there's something special there now. I said sword, I said cup, I said wand. air, water, fire, earth. The fourth one is the pentacle, which represents value. And that's the answer. Whenever this happens to me, when I go blank on the element that is fourth, or the missing element for me as I process the tarot especially, the missing element is like a huge, like imagine a whole set of dancers singing the can-can, like around the issue. Like the red flags are all dancing around this one issue and you can't see them. It's like pretending you can't see them. The value, which takes me back to what I said earlier. This matter is a matter of self-worth. It is lacking here in terms of your manifestation. The magician is the manifester. If these four values are present, that manifestation is on its way, baby. It's riding on a horse and it's on the way. But what's missing here is something around your personal value. It's sitting there in number 7. And at this point, I feel sorry for anyone who's just jumped in and listened to this part of this this video, because it won't make sense. But that's my confirmation. It's a matter around this thing that you're hesitating on as you write your list. It relates back to your sense of personal value. Once you've resolved this matter around your sense of personal value, the gates of number 8 are opening. And I don't know, again, I used number 8. It was random, but it's not random. I realize now that 8 is and we've got 8 coming this next month. That's the next portal. 8, I don't know if it's the next portal. I feel like it's the next portal, whatever. 8 is infinity. 8 is like momentum. That is, Spirit is already starting the engine for you and is revving so that you know we're almost off, but you forgot your handbag in the house. You forgot something in the house. We can't leave without it. Go get it quickly. I'm not stopping this car. I'm waiting for you. Go fetch that thing that you forgot in the house. We're leaving. This train is leaving. Sending you all love. I'm actually excited at this point. I'm very excited. I've got excitement in my energy right now. Oh, gosh. Sending you love. Bye. As I finished recording this audio, Spirit delivered a message to me regarding an extended offering. This offering is called Me, Myself, and I, and it is a method of healing through the mind as it relates to your being. It offers awareness to heal the gap between you and your higher self, and I have launched it on Patreon. Although the offering itself is not yet live, there is a video for you to watch, sharing more about Me, Myself, and I. If you feel called, and if you feel it's appropriate for you, I have shared a link to Pyramid Energy on Patreon below in the description box. If you don't, know that nothing will be changing here on YouTube. This will continue to operate as guided by Spirit. I look forward to this journey, as I have with all milestones on Pyramid Energy.